Welcome to Bonnie's Beat. I'm your host, Bonnie Squires. We're coming to you from Radnor Studio 21 in the heart of downtown Wayne, and we now also broadcast through Lower Merion Narberth Television. Yes! So now I get to see my show because I live in Lower Merion, and Comcast finally is broadcasting Radnor Studio 21 Productions, which I've been doing for 13 years. Never got to see it until recently. We like to showcase important people in the community who are doing important things, and we have a VIP today. I'm thrilled and delighted to have her here. Her name is Renee Amoore, and she's the CEO of the Amoore Group Incorporated. Renee, thank you so much for taking time out from your frantic schedule. I know what a schedule you have.
Thanks for having me.
Now, tell people what the Amoore Group consists of. Because you got a lot of companies there.
A lot of companies. The Amoore Group consists of 4 companies. One is Amoore Health System, started in 1996. We do just health care. We work in the prisons. We work with insurance companies. We do all those things. And then we have 521, and that is our lobbying firm, PR marketing government relations firm in Harrisburg and in D.C. And then we have our not-for-profit, one of our favorites, called Ramsey Educational Developmental Institute, which I named after my parents and my mom in particular, who is very much an advocate for people with disparities, and she always gave back, and that's what this company does. And then we just started, Bonnie, a benefit called To Benefit You, a benefits company to help people with lifestyle benefits, because there's so many problems around benefits and Obamacare and all those things. So we're doing really well with that also.
Tell me what benefits means.
That's a good point. What does benefits mean? Well, you have Humanacare, you have AmeriHealth, you have all these different kind of benefit companies, insurance companies. And so what we do is lifestyle benefits. And what we do is go into universities, and what we sell to universities are benefits for students that they can put in, incorporate in their package as far as, the tuition. And this covers counseling, okay, which is private. It covers even your pet care. It covers dental, so again, it's lifestyle benefits. It covers if your child has a DUI, and a lot of times we don't tell our parents, but it covers that. So we cover a lot of things, and it's very helpful, especially the counseling. And guess what? You can talk. It's teleconference, okay? With video conference.
With the high rate of college suicides, which is so scary.
Very much so.
The counseling is
That's a big key,
important.
And that's what we're excited about. And you can just go on a video, and just talk to the therapist, because a lot of kids don't want to go in and let people see them going into a counselor's office.
Exactly.
And so this really helps them, and so it's exciting.
Was that your idea?
Of course.
Well, everything is your idea.
No, it's not, because I'm on the Drexel board, and like you're talking about suicide and other things. We said, wait a minute, we got to make a difference here. What can we do to make it better? And so we have a lot of kids doing the video conferences, talking to their counselors, their psychiatrists, a nurse if they're sick, those type of things. So it makes sense.
I was just at the Drexel University dedication of the expansion of the Stephen and Sandra
Oh my
Scheller
God, it's fabulous.
11th Street Health Services Center. I assume you have a piece of that as well.
I was there and I loved it. Sandy and
I
Steve
didn't see
Scheller,
you there.
I was there, are phenomenal. I saw you. They're phenomenal
busy taking
people.
pictures,
You
but
were
I
all
didn't
over the
see
place.
you.
They are phenomenal people. They have given and given. Sandy works as an art therapist there. People need this in a community full of disparities, but because Drexel is there.
Wait. Let's explain what you mean by disparities.
Oh, okay.
Drexel has built this fabulous 11th Street Health Services Center right in the middle of a public housing project in North Philadelphia,
That's right, in North
11th and Parish Streets. And that's where Sandy Scheller goes
Exactly.
to do her counseling.
All the time, her art therapy. She
Yeah.
is phenomenal. She's a phenomenal
she's a
art
trained
therapist.
counselor.
Oh my God, she's wonderful.
She
And her
is.
husband, Stephen, is an excellent lawyer. And these are people that other people would not really help or really work with, because they don't know where to go, how to get the help. So to build this facility right in the middle of North Philadelphia is amazing.
And it's the most beautiful facility.
Oh my God, it's wonderful.
And as Sandy said when she got up, after Senator Casey had spoken, after Darrell Clark, head of City Council, after Mike Stack, the Lieutenant Governor, had spoken, after John Fry, the President of Drexel, had spoken.
Exactly.
Sandy was the most impressive. She said, just because people are poor doesn't mean they don't deserve to have beautiful furniture and the top of the line medical equipment. And I'll tell you, any university hospital will be thrilled to have had a facility like the Scheller 11th Street Health Center.
It is phenomenal. They've been there for years.
And they just like doubled the size.
Dean Donnelly, our dean of nursing, she's wonderful. She's in charge of it. She is great, you know, and it's such a great team there, what they do for folks. Yes, these people have disabilities, they have really bad diseases, but now they can go somewhere and be checked, you know, without worrying about their money.
And it's also a comprehensive
healthcare clinic.
Health center.
Absolutely.
So it's not just one thing that they check on. They
everything.
check on everything.
It's comprehensive. I used to work in a comprehensive healthcare clinic in the South Bronx. Those type of clinics are very important so they can check you from head to toe. And you don't not go because, well, I don't know who's going to pay for it. You walk in and you get those services. So that's truly a blessing for Drexel, and we cannot thank the Schellers enough. They're great.
How long have you been on the board of trustees at Drexel?
Oh my God, since 1996.
Really?
And they need to get some new blood. That's what I keep telling them. 1996, and I chair the HR committee.
You chair the Human Resources Committee.
Absolutely.
I have a feeling that in order to be a board member, you would have had to have been very philanthropic as well. Right?
You're absolutely correct.
Have you gotten any kind of honors at Drexel?
Yes, I have. The Joe Giacovini Award.
Ooh.
And Joe Giacovini is a fabulous lawyer at Dilworth and Paxton, and he was never a alumni. So this is an award for somebody that's not an alumni, and they named it after Joe Giacovini, and I was the first awardee to get that.
It's a small world because Giacovini, I got to speak to at the dedication.
I love him.
He's the past chairman of the Board of Trustees.
Absolutely.
And the next night after the dedication, Steve Scheller was going to get the Giacovini Award.
He did.
It's for a non-Drexel alumnus who's done something remarkable.
Exactly.
So you were the first.
The first one.
Ooh.
I couldn't believe it when I got that call. I was like, really? And that was like 3 years ago. But it's such a blessing because it's such a high honor for somebody to be given that to me. I was like, I couldn't believe it when John Fry called me. I was like, are you kidding me? But
That's
it was good.
a big honor. And also, it's nice that you're a woman that got the award.
That's right, the only one so far. And we know how important women are.
Do you find that you often are the only woman at the table at a meeting,
Absolutely.
even today?
Not just the only woman, the only minority. Let
So
me be
you-
real clear about that. So I get a 2 for 1. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
You know, a lot of people ask me to sit on the boards. Renee, we really need you. We need you because we need a diversity. We need a woman. So they got it made right there. So anybody needs me, call me.
How many boards do you sit on?
Too many, and last year, literally, I really resigned slowly from about 10 of them because it was too much. It was too much because, you know, you want to give and you want to give back, but then you don't want to be on a board and not do anything, Bonnie.
Right.
And so I'm on a board, and it's on the board because I really want to give back and do what I need to do. So Drexel's a big deal for me. I'm on the CMS board. That's Catch in Philadelphia. Ray Pesticure is the CEO. He's been there forever, for like 30 years. They deal with people with disabilities, drug and alcohol, that kind of stuff, mental health, you know, illness, behavioral health, they call it now. And so that's a big board for me too. Charmaine Matlock-Turner, you know, her board, you know, matter of fact, they're having a big breakfast on this Friday, which we already have raised $400,000, and we've been involved in that for them. And so, you know, those type of things. I'm chair of the joint board at my church, which is important for me because my faith is very important for me.
What's the name of your church?
Saints Memorial Baptist Church in Bryn Mawr,
Bryn Mawr.
down Lancaster Avenue.
Okay. Where did you go to university?
I went to Harlem Hospital Nursing School. I went from Bryn Mawr to Harlem, and people said, Renee, you need to write a book. It was a shocker in the 70s. When it was real rough and heroin was out there, and you know, it was interesting, but I would do it again because I've learned so much. Then I went from there to the South Bronx and worked in a healthcare comprehensive center and worked with under Montessori Hospital.
But
and
you were
worked with
born and
gangs
raised in Bryn Mawr.
In Bryn Mawr.
Where'd you go to high school?
Haverford High School, and I was always in trouble.
I can't believe
I'll be
that.
honest. Yeah, because I had a lot of racial issues, a lot of racism there, and it was really bad. One time we got on the school bus and the guy said, all ends go and sit in the back of the bus. It was really not good. Then I was told by a teacher I could never be a nurse. I needed to go to Cheney and take home ec. So I had a lot of different, at that point, that's when I threw the chair at her. But, you know, and then they called my mom and I explained the whole thing, and I'll never forget it. And then years later, when I did get into nursing school, Harlem Hospital, I didn't want to go to Bryn Mawr or whatever. I wanted to see people that looked like me. When I went after I graduated, my mother sent a car for Miss Bates, my teacher that told me that I could not be a nurse.
Oh.
And she came to my graduation in Harlem Hospital.
And what did she say?
In shock. Because you have to open up the world to people so they can see, to stop
Yes.
making comments like that. And that's what my mother did.
Good for your mother. Wow.
She was excellent like that.
Amazing.
And I tried to do the same thing. When people, that's when they said I couldn't run for the school board and I couldn't sit on the school board. And I had a interview there, and that's when they had kicked off Somebody Bonnie in Upper Marion. And so they had on the TV, and I just happened to be watching. I was like, school board person needed, and I had to do something because my child was called the N-word on the first day of school, and beat up. And when she got home, my husband called me. He was like, he's from Jamaica. He said, we don't deal with this. We deal with class in our country. We don't deal with the whole race thing. And it really blew him out the water. And then he went to the child's house who punched her and beat her up and stuff. And we won't go into what happened from there. But bottom line is, I called my mom and said, we got to do something. She said, no, you have to do something. And then that started who I was, and went, and it was one of the most racist interviews I've had. And they said, well, if you don't get this, Miss Amoore, will you run in the future? I said, absolutely not. We'll make sure all of you are off the board because you don't represent who I am in the community. And I ran and I won both sides of the aisle.
Good for you.
Yep, that's what happened.
Well, should we let people know that you're a big Republican?
Oh, absolutely. Everybody knows.
That'll create shock out there, you know.
Been a Republican, third generation. Enjoy who I am, what I'm about. My mom was a Republican, my grandmother. Now my daughter is, you know, and that's who we are and that's what we're about. And I chair I'm deputy chair of the Republican Party in Pennsylvania. And I have a good time.
You're there. You raise issues, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
That they don't hear from anybody else.
Absolutely.
Which
and
is
we have
important.
a good time, and it is important. And I've been able to be the first woman and African American to chair a delegation at the Republican National Convention in New York. You know, there, and I put President Bush over the top, and that was excellent. And I also did a town hall meeting, which they put on a big screen. So they flew me back to Philadelphia from New York to do that. I was a keynote speaker at the convention, and then the first convention here, 2000, I was the roll call person. So I've been blessed and done a lot of things, and they've done a lot of things for me.
And even though I'm a big D, as you know.
Yes, we all know.
I volunteered. When
You
Rendell
did.
called me,
You did.
For 6 months ahead of time, I was the liaison to the media around the country, around the world, and I got to go to the convention every day.
Exactly.
And as a matter of fact, and I didn't do it on purpose, but I was carrying a book bag with all these, you know, memorabilia, and I had it clutched to my chest because it was so heavy, so it was covering my media badge. And when we went to what's now, I think, the Wachovia Center, I saw all these well-dressed people getting on an elevator. So I got on the elevator. They got out. I got out. They went and sat down. I sat down.
Okay.
I take a look. 6 feet from the podium where George W. Bush was going to give his remarks.
I love
And there were
it.
lots of people that couldn't get in because there weren't enough seats for all the big Republican donors. So I listened for about 15 minutes, and then I thought, they may notice I'm not clapping. I think I better quietly sneak out.
I love it. I love it.
So I sneaked out and gave my seat to somebody.
Oh, that was nice, though. But that's a good experience, though.
It was a great experience.
I love it. I love
and I
it.
went to all the Republican parties. I have to say, Democratic parties are livelier.
No, I think
But-
ours are pretty lively. You didn't go to the right ones.
Well, but I still have in my closet lots of very expensive golf shirts with Republican, with the elephant.
Yep.
And, you know,
wear it and be proud, okay? We'll wear them together.
Well, I'm looking forward to having the Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia. So
It's a lot of work.
Oh, yeah.
Democrats have a lot of work. You have to raise a lot of money to get it done.
Yeah. Well, I'm not.
And you
raising
just
the
had
money
the
for
Pope
them.
here and all this other thing. So
The
we're
Pope
becoming
was-
very important in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia in particular. What's going on?
Well, we're now a World Heritage City.
All right.
So that is terrific.
Absolutely.
Global Philadelphia and Zabeth, something like TX. I never get to pronounce her last name correctly unless she's here. But that was wonderful. They flew to Peru.
Yeah,
And they got the
absolutely.
UN
Wasn't that something?
to pass it. That's a very big deal.
It
Because
is.
Philly's the first American city to be given such a classification.
And an honor.
Well, the Greater Philadelphia Chamber of Commerce mailed me this about the Paradigm Scholarships for working women.
Right.
And of course, whose name is at the top of the list, who's the chair of this, Renee Amoore,
Goodness.
president of the Amoore Group. So tell us about the Chamber of Commerce's Paradigm Award and Scholarship Committee. How long have you been involved with that?
Oh my God, since 2003. And I was named, the Paradigm winner back then, thanks to Mr. Bill Sasso, who's one of my mentors and sponsors and advocates. And it's such an honor. The Paradigm is for a businesswoman that runs a company and does it well, but enhances everything. Does the big thing for me, Bonnie, and for your listening audience, is for women or anybody that's in business to make sure you give back to the community. And so this person has to give back to the community. They have to really work with their staff and work with everybody, but they always have to give back. To me, that's important because you're getting. In business, you give back. So, we have a committee. The committee is phenomenal. I've worked with them for a long time. I've been the chair since 2004. I keep saying they can get somebody else. They keep saying no. The program is March 31st this year, and, we're going to announce the winner soon. We met yesterday and already chose our winner, so we're excited about that. She encompasses a lot of things I can't tell you now because I would get in trouble. But it's going to be a good thing. But the Paradigm also gives scholarships. Again, Bill Sasso started this with Charlie Pease. And so Bill Sasso was the only gentleman on the committee for years, and then we let somebody else come in. But he's been really great to have that diversity and balance in the group. But the scholarship committee is, we give like 10 scholarships that are like $5,000. Or $2,500, $3,000, depending on what level that you hit on. And that we want people to put in if they want a scholarship from us. Okay, but their company has to be a chamber member.
Okay.
That's the one big thing.
But this is fabulous because it's women within the organization who are
Correct.
working full-time.
That's right.
While completing their undergraduate degree.
Exactly.
And if they're enrolled in a 2-year or 4-year accredited institution, the Paradigm Scholarship for Working Women provides up to $5,000
That's right.
towards tuition and or books over a 2-year period.
That's right.
That's a
and
lot of
we've
money.
had so many women really get out of school because of us and get their degree because we help them financially. And so we're really happy about this program. It's a great program and we love it. So people should come March 31st. If they've never been to the Paradigm Award, they can contact the chamber in Philadelphia. They can Google it because I Google everything now because I don't know off the top of my head the phone number. And come March 31st, you're going to have a great time. It's the best luncheon ever. You get in and you get out. We don't hold you up.
No, it's wonderful. I've been to
I'll
a
be the
number of
MC.
them.
Come, Bonnie, you're invited this year. Sit at my table.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll be there. March 31st.
That's
Absolutely. Right. I will be there.
Come. We want you to be there. Your listening audience, come too.
I've been to a number of the Paradigm Awards.
I know you have. I've seen you there.
And these women are just
aren't they phenomenal?
Amazing women. Led by Renee Amoore, I have to say
funny.
that. Absolutely.
We have a good program though. We have a lot of fun. It's good.
Oh, yeah.
It's not boring. I don't have it boring.
I'm sorry that my viewers can't see your gorgeous Dolce & Gabbana shoes.
Oh my God, you are so funny.
The heels are like a foot high, and then they're black, but there's a red platform.
Fuchsia like this.
Fuchsia, excuse me.
That's
red.
okay. Sorry.
Fuchsia. Everything has to match. The nails match. Everything matches. What can I say? Do you want to say anything about the as we're taping this, the current crop? We just lost Jindal, but the current crop of Republicans who would like to be named the Republican candidate for president?
You know what? That's a good question. We've had a lot of folks that wanted to be president. I was getting ready to put my name in it. It was so crowded. But I let Carly Farino go ahead and do her thing. But next time I'll think about it. But on a serious note, people will start fading out because people are emailing me, calling me like, what is going on? You have so many people. Remember, those people, Bonnie, that are up there, they're just, if they know they're not going to be president, but they're positioning themselves for a cabinet seat or ambassador, that type of thing. People have to understand that. And so that gives them a platform. Or Surgeon General, maybe Ben Carson, things like that. You can be on top, but that doesn't mean you're going to finish as a winner. Let's take Rick Santorum as an example. Remember he won Iowa. I love Rick Santorum, whatever. And then that was it.
He poofed away.
You see what I'm saying? So, and then you just said Jindal, and then, Rand Paul. So people come and they'll go. You had people at the big boys and girls table, and now you had Christie, for example, at the little boys and girls table. That kind of stuff. So you
Not
just
so
never
little.
know. But the table's little.
Yeah, right.
See what you said about Governor Christie. But see, those things happen. So you'll start seeing more and more people fade out.
I'm sorry that Christie got pushed to the little table, because he and Lindsey Graham, who probably has the best credentials of anybody in that crop, I mean, they won't even let him on the floor.
Well, here's the bottom line. You have to look at what the polls are saying. You have to look at the money. See, here's the big thing. Remember Scott Walker? Everybody, oh, Renee, we know he's in. He's going to be the candidate. He was one of the first out.
That's
okay,
right.
because he didn't have the money. See, this is all about, you got to raise that money. You know, look at your candidate, Miss Clinton, Secretary Clinton. You got to have the money. Bush has $100 million in. You know, and so he'll still be stable, even though people say no. But him and Rubio are the establishment candidates. You have to look at those things. And so there's a lot of things that people really have to be aware of before you say Trump is the winner. No, he's not. Okay, he's a celebrity. He brings out 30,000 people because they want a picture with him. They want to hear what he has to say. Right. Who's going to deal with somebody who says send all immigrants, whatever, get them out of here? Who's going to deal with somebody talking about Carly Farina's face? Come on now, that's horrible. But I will say he's saying things that some people are thinking. Some of his stuff has been racist, you know, sexist. Come on, let's be honest here. It's horrible. You know, it's really horrible. I went to the debates and stuff, and just
he
to
loves
see him
women.
there.
He's been married 3 times.
Yeah. That's a good point, Bonnie. I love it. But the bottom line is, you know, he's talking about people. Look at him. Look at his hair. He didn't look all that great.
Well, every time he says, "I got out of Atlantic City at the right time," I scream at the television, because people in Atlantic City hate Donald Trump. He didn't go bankrupt personally. But every time he declared bankruptcy for one of his casinos, it impacted thousands of lives and destroyed people
and
businesses.
Got rich off of other people's backs, off of other investors' money, and then you're going to stand on the stage and say they were stupid? Come on, you can't do that to people. Now you really got me started.
Well, I said to my husband, why would the banks continue to fund Donald Trump? He has such a poor track record. And he'd said to me, that's the only way the banks have a prayer that eventually they get repaid, if they keep funding him so he can go on to the next project and maybe make money and maybe start paying them back.
Listen, here's what he said. He knows how to deal with the loopholes. The loopholes were legal, and so he just looped in and out. That's what happened. But he did it all for other people.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the sad thing, and it's just not fair, but life's not fair, they say. But bottom line is no, Donald Trump.
Are you a Jeb Bush person?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I am. I think I know. I worked with Jeb in Florida. I worked with him in the prison system. I saw what he did with people with disabilities, people with disparities. I liked his policies. His policies are excellent now. He has the money. The only thing is, Governor Bush needs to learn how to really debate. He takes everything personal. He tries to answer every question. I was just with him like a couple of weeks ago. He was in Philadelphia, and we talked about that, you know, and he said, well, I'm going to get better, and, you know, we have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, he's not a great public speaker, unfortunately.
That's what I'm saying, but everything else he does well. But people look at, you know, what you can do like Donald Trump, the celebrity style, whatever. That's not him. The celebrity in his family is his mom, Barbara Bush.
Barbara Bush.
I love Barbara
is
Bush.
Fabulous.
I love her.
She would come to Philadelphia every year to the Free Library of Philadelphia. She'd grab a little kid. She'd put the kid on her lap. She'd read to all these children. And she's beautiful.
Oh my God, she's wonderful. No, she's wonderful inside and out. And I know one time I was getting some award in Washington, D.C., and I spoke before she did. And then she came, and I was like so excited. She said, don't ever put me after Renee Amoore again. And so I told her that was a compliment, and I appreciate that. But no, she's great. She's just a really good person. But her sons are not like that.
What's your favorite award that you've ever received? You must have a whole room in your house for the awards.
Not in my house, my office, but the Madam C.J. Walker Award.
Oh.
Madam C.J. Walker, I felt so honored. I got it like 15 years ago, 20 years ago, but I felt so honored.
Madam C.J. Walker.
Yes, Madam C.J. Walker, the African, go ahead.
She was the African-American woman who was such an entrepreneur, who created all kinds of hair devices, hair care, and made
so our hair would look
fortune.
nice. Became the first African-American woman millionaire.
Yep.
Everybody thinks it was Oprah. No.
No, long
Madam
before.
C.J. Walker was phenomenal, and she lived in Harlem.
Oh, isn't that an interesting coincidence?
And
And you went to
Harlem Hospital,
Harlem Nursing School.
But she was just an amazing, and I've just followed her and looked at what she did and how she did it. And so it's always been instilled in me. So that's my favorite. And I've gotten a lot of good ones, but that's again is my favorite.
I'm sure you have.
That's truly been a blessing,
The governor's budget. You mentioned disabilities. My clients in the disability community are praying that the Department of Human Services for the state gets a big chunk of money to provide the community-based services that are needed for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities.
I agree, because that's what I do. That's who I am. That's what I'm about. So we've been to Harrisburg a lot. We've talked to the Republicans and the Democrats, because you have to work both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have to continue to keep communicating and stuff. And let me say this about Governor Wolf. Nice guy, whatever, but he going to have to learn how to work with everybody. And so we can pull this thing together to make this thing happen, because it's ridiculous. I've had people literally close some of their businesses, the small businesses, because they can't afford it. We see people that are autistic. We have social workers, behavioral health people, PTs, OTs. We're still paying them even though we're not getting paid. That's not a good thing. Everybody can't do that. You know what I'm saying? And so people or they're calling me up. They're just like, Renee, what are you doing? I'm doing the best I can. I'm praying a whole lot, and I'll continue to do that. But the bottom line is, this thing needs to pass. Now, we're talking about close to Thanksgiving. So I'm hopeful and being prayerful, and you guys do the same thing. And talk to your legislators. Call them, you guys. It's important to let them know this is hurting you. This is hurting your family. This is hurting the whole state. Because people are closing across the state. Erie, they were talking about closing their school. This is how important this thing is.
There are a number of adult literacy programs across the state that are closing their doors because they've run out of money.
You don't have it.
And they can't borrow anymore from the bank. They've come to the end of the road, and that leaves people in the lurch.
I was somewhere with a woman, and she was like, Renee, I don't know what we're going to do. My credit line is a small not-for-profit, it's only $25,000. I'm at my limit. I can't do this. I'm going to have to shut the door. This is a business in Norristown. Come on now. But like you said, it's not just here. It's across the state.
Across the state.
And guess what? Rape centers. Let me say that to you. Centers that deal with crisis centers, that whole thing. Bottom line is, where are these women going to go? And even men, let me say that. Yeah. Where are people going to go for their help? You don't want these people out on the street having these issues. Look what's going on in the world now. We can't have this continue. The shootings at schools, and it's just horrible. It's just horrible. Look what happened in Paris. These things, we have to be prayerful about this country and what's going on.
Tell me one good thing that's going on now.
One good thing is I'm here on your show, Bonnie B's, which I'm really excited about. The other thing is, finally, the Republicans and Democrats are talking about the budget, and hopefully this thing will pass. And the other thing is that, our company is servicing a lot of people with disabilities. We're going to continue to do that. We work in the prisons. We love working in the prisons. It's dangerous in some prisons, and my staff do well, and I want to thank them. Thank you, staff at Amoore Group. They are the best. They are the best team, and that's what's good for me. We communicate. I have 5 women that are in charge. And people say women can't work together, and they have, and they've been with me for 13 years. So
we want to put the information about the Amoore Group up on the screen again. I think we put it up a few times.
You did.
But we want to put it up again. And what's a good phone number for people to call?
610-992-0555. 610-992-0555, and we'll be more than willing to help you. Tell us what your issues are, whether it's a not-for-profit where you need to deal with counseling, if there's drug and alcohol. We do all those things, and we'll be so happy to help you. Just give us a shout out.
Well, thank you for stopping by, Renee. It's always a joy.
Oh my God, thanks for calling me.
Such good things. And we'll see everybody next week.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.